Hello and welcome to Become a Full Stack Developer. Today we are going to discuss a messaging broker that is Apache Kafka in ASP.NET Core. So if we go to the website Apache kafka.apache.org, so here is some like documents, get started and all this stuff. But here this is about what is event streaming and what is this publisher subscriber and all this stuff. So let's discuss it first with the basic what actually the Kafka is. Kafka is a message broker enable application services and system to communicate with one another and exchange information, meaning that suppose we are working with a different application, like in my case I'm working with microservices. So I want to broadcast a message and all my clients will accept or will receive that message and perform their own action what they want and what the logic are for that particular suppose messages we want to handle. So for that we I have used a grpc, that is a remote procedural call, but there is some glitches in that, so we have to use a different approach. And did some r&d about what is the advantage and the disadvantage of grpc. Then I come to the another one, and I find that kafka is more reliable than the other. And it is actually event driven system, we can say that in a stream event driven streaming massive broker. So it has a one producer and one or more than one can be producer, and one or more than one can be consumer. Consumer mean your client, and producer mean your publisher or whatever, like we can say that a kind of server. So the why we need this, because it is scalable and high through output, high reliable, and many more. So there are some basic we can say the basic terms in being used in Kafka. The first one is event, like I said earlier. Event is if we go to onto the main Kafka official website, so it is there stated that what is streaming. Event streaming is a digital equivalent of human body central. In simple wording, I'm just going to explain what actually the event is. Event is like when suppose we have a button and we want to click that button, and in that case some event is generated like a click event. So consider it in that way. So it is an event, uh, and then the publish mean the write, and subscribe mean the read, and store stream of event. And these are the main things, like uh, these things are very important, like procedure, what is the producer, and the consumer. Producer are those client applications that push, means the application that want to spread some data to their consumer, to their child application. So this is called a producer, and the consumer is that will get the information from this producer. But yeah, and here is another topic called uh, topics. Actually, the topics is a channel. When a producer broadcast a message, then they send a kind of topic, like I will show you in code. And the consumer will get that topic from the producer. So there are some other things are involved in it, so let's discuss with that. Suppose what is the cluster. Kafka cluster comprises one or more server on Kafka broker. For highly availability, Kafka cluster typically contain many brokers, each of them having its own partition because they are stateless. And zookeeper is comes under the story. In the story, like what is a zookeeper, you just consider it a middleware that manage all the states, kind of states. And then the Kafka topic, like as I said, Kafka is, topic is just a channel. So the topic define a channel for transmission of data. When producer push a message to the topic, the consumer read message from them. A unique name identifies a topic and partnering to a Kafka cluster. Then the producer, as we discussed, the producer serves as a data source of one or more Kafka topic. A Kafka consumer comes consume data through the reading message on the topic. And then the zookeeper is uh, manage and coordinate the Kafka broker in a cluster. It also notify producer and consumer in Kafka cluster to existence of new broker. And then the Kafka broker act as a middleman between the producer and consumer, hosting topic and partition and enabling sending and receiving message between them. The broker is a typically uh, production. Kafka cluster can handle many reads and write per second. Produce and consumers don't uh, communicate directly. So let's start with the installation. First of all, you will go to this website www.7 and hyphen and zip.org.download.html. If we go here, so there are the 7 zip, so you can download as per your operating system and like a window and other system. And then here is a Java, because this is Apache, so we need a, JDK for Java development kit, or JRE, like here. So we will download this one as well, java.com. And if we go to here java.com en and download, we can download the Java. And the another thing is that we will download the main thing, that is a Kafka Apache. And for that we will go to here kafka.apache.org. We will download these things, like this one or this one, what actually you want to download. It totally up to you. So I have installed this one because it is a recommended. If we go here, you can say that we build multiple version, but 2.13 is a recommended, meaning this one is a recommended. So I have download this one. So when you download this, in my case I have download this here. And suppose it will come to here because I already have extracted this folder. So this is a you have to extract this folder when you do extraction. And you can in my case, I have created a one folder Kafka, and these are the files when you extract the uh, this folder actually, when you extract this tgz folder. And here these are the some files: bin configuration and logs and zookeeper data. So after you extract this one, then you will go to the config file. And here is the two things. One is a zookeeper dot properties. When you open this in a notepad or whatever you want to upload, sorry, to open this like Visual Studio Code here. So you can change your data directory. So in my case, I have a new folder zookeeper data. So I'm just point out this directory. And the same like for the another one, that is Where is that one actually? That is that. So for that we will also change the our another file that is. So I have changed the zookeeper data directory, and the same like you can change the server logs that directory, like here is the server that is under the Kafka and config in the same folder, and here you can change the log dot directory, because in my case I have created, or if this folder is not created, then the Kafka will automatically create this folder for you. And that's it. And now let's come to the our C sharp code. No, not only C sharp code, but these both configurations have done, like the for zookeeper and for the log of the Kafka. So the what is the next step for this? So we will come to the our main directory, the like a C and then the Kafka, and we have to start the uh, our uh, zookeeper and then the Kafka server. So for that there is a simple command, uh, bin windows, because here is my directory, bin windows. If you run this command inside over here, you don't need to go to the same command like a bin windows, so you can just come to here and start the zookeeper and server dot start dot bat, and then uh, config.properties if you want to use this one, or if you don't, then you can run this simple command. And same like if you want to stop the zookeeper server, this is same zookeeper server and hyphen stop that bat, because I have installed the bats files. And same like the Kafka server, it is same like the bin windows and Kafka and server dot start dot bat, and the same like kafka.server.stop.bat. It's totally up to you. You want to where you want to put your Kafka files in the directory, and but in my case I have put in my C drive, so that's why this is the path. And the other thing is that you can run the Kafka and Zookeeper, all this stuff, by using the Docker, because it will download the images of all the, like the Zookeeper and the Kafka server, so you can directly communicate uh, with that images in your code. So let's come to the Visual Studio. So here I have created one as I already have created a one application. So I just add a new API and named it logging Kafka producer microservices. This will work for our producer. Here is the producer, but before coming adding any producer, we have to install the one uh, package, that is a confluent.kafka. In my case, I have installed confluent.kafka and 1.1 1.9.3. So the simple code is that I have here is a server. If we come to this is actually Kafka server, booster server, and it is running on 9092. And here is the topic. You can write any topic, uh, because we will push the data on this server with this topic, and this topic, like it is string actually. So you will read this topic in the consumer, where you want to consume this producer data. And I have created a one endpoint. I'm naming it producer logs, and here is my model. If we go to here login DTO, so it has a service IP address correlation and blah blah. These are my model actually. And here is a topic. I just created a one method, a synchronous method, send log request, and here is the topic, and then the message. Message is just a serialized object of my model. And here is a configuration, producer config and producer. uh, it will get the actually your URL. Actually, it is your server is running. This is that port number, and this is the DNS of client. I just use the DNS dot get host name, and here, because this is our IO related stuff, so I have used this thing using, because this is automatic disposable. When we have some object and we want to know where we can dispose the object, so it is a good way to use a using uh, syntax, like a using, and then all these things inside the using. And here I have created a var producer, new producer builder, and then the null. And it is taking actually constructor, it is taking two things. If you come to here, it is taking the string I'm using that, and the configuration is this our producer configuration file, and then the build, and then I'm just hitting these await producer dot produce asynchronously, like produce. It has a two method, asynchronous or asynchronous. It totally up to you which you want to use. So I'm using asynchronous, and then that's it. So let's run our server first. This is our server. Okay. And in the same for project, I have created another application that I'm naming it C2M logging Kafka consumer microservices. I have installed the same package in the consumer application. So here is the consumer. If you see that, here is the topic, and it is the same for our producer. Here is the topic, and it's the same for our uh, consumer. And here is a group ID. The Kafka work like when we produce want to push the data on the server, like on the we want to broadcast, so it comes under the grouping. So I just name it a group, and then here is our bootstrap server. Actually, this is what this server, the same server we are using, this one. And that's it. And I have implemented iHoster service, like to start and to stop, because this will automatically generate the two method I hosted. And here you can see that I have used a consumer configuration. Over here we have used producer config, and here in the customer side, in the consumer side, we have used the consumer config. It is using the same thing, like the group ID and the server, and the auto offset reset earliest. So these are the things are earliest, like if you come to here onto the Kafka website, you can find the what is the meaning of all these things, the earlier and end to end, or whatever these things are. And for here, I'm just using a try catch, and then using again the same. And here is using the consumer builder, same like the producer builder. In the client side, we will use the consumer builder, and the same thing like build and the configuration. Over here, we will use the consumer dot subscribe. If we come over here, it is saying that uh, that produce, not over here we are getting the subscription. Actually, we are subscribing our topic, so it is getting the topic and then the token, and under the token we can get the get of tokens. And here we can get there the consumer dot message dot value. And we are 100% sure that, because we are passing our logging DTO, so I'm just deserializing this string into our DTO, and that's it. So I'm using the while loop, because we have to uh, keep our service, like the consumer, up until the condition true, means we have to run our services all the time. So let's run this one as well, because this is also the API application, so I'm using the IS as well. So let's come over here. Here is the let me actually open the Swagger. Swagger is just coming up. So you can see that, and another thing is that, sorry, in the consumer we have to register our service like iHoster service and this the consumer service in the configuration in the startup file under the config service. And first time it will considering that we it is making the connection. So that's it. And let's say this is our producer, and I want to change like a service name Anjum, suppose, oh sorry, tryout, and I'm making it Anjum, and the payload is suppose 1, and we are hitting. Now you can see that it coming, where it is coming. Okay, just 1 minute, let me run the same thing again. I just run the server again. Maybe it is almost near to up. I just hit this one, and maybe I have to rerun this code again. It is just going to up. Now you can see that I just put the data, and in our service it is coming here, and in the log request it is just maybe I need to hit the breakpoint here. If we go to the debug, sorry, let's try to. So the another thing is that how we can check that is the data is coming onto our server or not. So for that we will go to the, we will run this command bin kafka, and in our case we are using the same thing. So we are just going to change our topic. The topic name is topic logs. So here, oops, I'm just changing over here just for safe side. Test. So I'm just changing it like this. Control C. I'm running this one, topic and topic log. So here let's send another request. So I'm adding Anjum 1, and here is payload is 2. When we come over here, the producer is going to produce the request again. So you can see that here we will receive the request. This is Anjum 1, and the payload is 1 2. This was our main request, and it again come over here, and suppose, and you can see that here we will receive the same data 1 2, and we can check that our server is up, and the Kafka is broadcasting the messages. So let's say, suppose the interesting thing is that uh, our consumer is down. I just stop the consumer application. Now try to change the data over here, suppose 2, and I'm changing it to hash 1. So it goes like in this way, and here, sorry, so the data is come over here, the server is here, like the payload is 1 2, and but our consumer application did not receive the data. So when we run this again, now you can see that, just let it be open. So it is coming, it goes like this way, and here you guys can see that the payload is here, meaning that our latest request is being read in the consumer, not the whole request. If we go to the this our console bat, you can see that we have lot of our request, but the consumer read only the latest one, that is not being we can say not being readed or not being calculated. So this is about the Kafka. So the reason for that, like the other like the massive brokers, suppose the RabbitMQ, so they are not allowing us to kind of this kind of reliability. And another thing is that your duplication of data, this is the main concern and main topic and main advantage of using the Kafka, because in this case no duplicate data is being transferred to the broadcaster, to the consumer. So these is the basic concept of the Kafka. If you guys are more interested, just go to the Kafka.Apache. So here is a lot of good document, actually very nice documentation about the Kafka. So just try to start over here, and if you guys need any help or concern, please feel free to discuss.